happy to share it. I'll just try to give you 5 minutes. This is a course I made for the University of Bari. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I'd like to mention something that the colleague just said, that in our university, we have English classes for free, sponsored by the government, and since last year, because we are non-language without borders, and some state universities had already this since last August, and we are delivering courses, offering courses for the whole university, for staff, for teachers to learn how to teach their classes in English, and we are also giving those lessons for students to improve their language skills and also to guide them how to write in English, how to write papers, and how to present them seminars in abroad. So this is very new in the state universities, but in Paraná we have 3 universities who already have this program, government program that financially everything. So in our case, we have English for teachers to deliver classes. We have English for students for free. And this month, we just opened 18 courses for our students. When we have a bunch of students in the waiting list, because we cannot have more classes, because we don't have teachers, because the government gave us only 6 teachers, pay for this. And I think this is the starting point for internationalization. We at Wayne, we are doing this since August, and we are doing really well on this.
It's very good, very good. And I mean, so maybe you should say that in your vision. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
But I say that there's 2 things. One is to have a vision. So you have a vision already. Your university has a vision, right? Who someone, the marketing people made it, or the human resources made it.
Yes.
And then yesterday you had a bit of talk, and you produced an alternative, maybe. But whatever your vision ends up, you've got to share it. And this is a big problem. I've been talking to a lot of you. This is the first time you've had the opportunity to talk to each other. Because when you're back at your university, you're maybe on a different campus with somebody else, or you're very, very busy and you can't meet, and you maybe meet only at a formal board of governors or board of the Senate or whatever governing body. So you don't have the chance. This is a good opportunity these 3 days to meet each other and to talk to each other. This is sharing the vision. So I just wanted to spend 5 minutes. This is a talk I made for the University of Bari. We were doing a project with the island of Malta in the Mediterranean, and this is on team learning, right? How you can actually share your vision. And I wanted to talk about have a brainstorming sessions. But what I wanted to just talk about for 5 minutes is something called syntegration. So syntegration is a word that's formed from synthesis, means putting together, and integration, syntegration. Yeah. This was invented by my hero, Stafford Beer, my mentor, and he investigated the problem of how do you get people to share their views, to share their opinions, right? So he had a friend called Buckminster Fuller, an American guy, and he was famous for building simple structures, architectural structures, mainly made with triangles. And around the world now we get these structures. They're very, very, very light, they're very inexpensive, and they're very strong. And Fuller said that in any architectural structure, you've got tension and compression. Tension and compression. Now, Stafford took this idea and said in any discussion, you have going together and coming apart. So you've got in a discussion, in a debate, some people are pulling in one way and some people are pulling in another way. So these two ideas, you put together and he formed this thing called integration. And he took Plato's solids and he chose the bottom right one, and it's called the icosahedron. Right? So, what his theory was that if you go to a meeting, there's an agenda, and you point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, and you talk the things on the agenda. Maybe you have something to say which is not on the agenda. So the last point on the agenda is any other business. Is that the same in Brazil? Any other business. But by the time you get to point number 5, any other business, it's time to go for a cup of tea and you go home. And you never discuss. You choose their own agenda. It has to be 30 struts. 30 struts? Yeah. So the people, that's why it's 30 people. So the people choose your own agenda. So what happens is the day before, 30 people, you send in 4 or 5 ideas each. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that, blah, blah, blah. And so you get in about 200 of these ideas into about 20 different themes. Right? Then the first day, you go around, you talk to each other, and you vote. I want to talk about this theme. I want to talk about this theme. And you have a vote, and the 12 top ones become the agenda. So you are forming your own agenda, which is a very big thing, right? And so there's 12 teams there, right? There's 12 nodes. So there's 12 teams. Each strut, you see the one, do I use that? Go back. Well, I can't use it, but you see this strut here. Now this is light blue, dark blue, yeah? So this is one person. This is Raphael, right? And Raphael's in 2 teams. He's in the light blue team and in the dark blue team. If you look at the light blue team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The dark blue team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got 12 teams. 12 teams of 5 people. And each person is in 2 teams. And then what you do over 2 days is you discuss one of the themes. And because you're in 2 teams, you can join and also in each meeting there's a critic, so you can go to another meeting and listen and criticize. So basically over the 2 days, you will talk or be part of a discussion on every of the 12 themes. Then at the end you present your results, and we've got the other teams. I did this in Ukraine as well, and these are the. I'm sorry, this is in Russian, but you can see these are the results of their discussion. So each team prepares a thing, and then you have a big discussion, and at the end of the meeting, everybody goes home, feeling satisfied that they've had a chance to say what they want to say, that they had a chance to influence the agenda, and you get agreement on of the 12 themes. You say you get priority. The most people thought theme 1 was the best way to go. So I mean, I would think that this is well documented in books and things, but all I'm saying is there are ways of sharing your visions. If you just say, oh, we'll meet at CC meeting on Tuesday afternoon, okay, you're sharing your opinions, but that's not going to work for the whole university. So, I mean, to me, it would be good to have a syndication involving the 7 universities together, or a syndication involving 1 university. There's only 2 disadvantages. The 2 disadvantages are you must have 30 people. It doesn't work with more or less. It's got to be exactly 30 people for the mechanism to work. And also, it takes at least 2.5 days. So you have to have 2.5 days free. But they're the 2 disadvantages. But it's a really, really effective. I've done many syndications all around the world. And it's a really good way of bringing people together to share a view. So that's just an idea. So we'll start the talk now. Go on that, yeah. So where am I? I don't know where I am.
You're in Brazil.
Going to Cardiff, Brazil. Talks. I think it should be day 4, it's day 3, I don't know whether it was in day 4. Day 4, session 3, sustainability, yeah. And yeah, so we're going to have 2 short talks now, one by me for 10 minutes and one by FBIs on benefits of internationalization. And then we have the question and answer session, okay? So, I've lost the thing again, I'll go here. So, I'm not going to go through everything. What I want to start with is there was a conference in Yerevan in Armenia in 2015, 47 delegations from Europe, and they were discussing internationalization for the future, right? So 2015, only 3 years ago. And so there are various things that come up. If you want to go on the internet, you can get the full proceedings of the Yerevan conference. It's very useful, interesting reading. And so internationalization, obviously a big topic. And in the red, it wants to become more inclusive, including people from students, diversity in the students, and less elitist, and not focusing predominantly on mobility, not focusing, prioritizing mobility, but also on the curriculum and learning outcomes. So they're saying that in the future, a more important thing is to get internationalization into your curriculum. So, for example, Perry's not here, but Perry met us the first day we had all day together, so we were talking. I know that Perry is doing in economics of crime, in especially not violent crime, but economic crime. He's doing a lot of research in that. So I mean, there's a lot of research of that going on all over the world as well. And so, an example of this would be if you're doing in your economic curricula, not only do you put Perry's work, but you find some work done by England or by France or by somewhere else, and that is part of the curriculum. So you're sharing the actually the knowledge in a particular area into your curriculum. Staff mobility. To promote staff mobility, take into account, well, okay. enhanced staff mobility. This is one of the targets, enhanced staff mobility. Especially through the establishment of supportive environments and structures. And academic and administrative staff should be included. I've found when I've been working with Cardiff, with background when we worked a lot in Egypt over the last 15 years, one of the big problems was the administrative structures of the Egyptian universities were very poor. Very few of them were on a computer. Many of them were big books written in Arabic, which nobody could understand. I could understand them, but I couldn't understand them. And so when you had to do financial calculations and things, it was difficult. So administrative staff should be involved in the mobility. Student mobility. We want to enhance the social dimension of higher education, improve gender balance. So I think that's okay in Brazil. You're not got a problem with gender balance. We have a problem with gender balance in the UK. We're still more male-orientated. But I don't think it's too big a problem in Brazil, but it's there in their recommendation, and also disadvantaged backgrounds. This is a big European thing that you must involve people from disadvantaged backgrounds. I mean, another big problem I've had in my international projects, almost in every country I've gone to, in the first student mobility, you've got the rector's son, the rector's daughter, the dean's cousin, the and I understand that. I mean, if I was the rector and we've got some money, I'd send my son to it. It's a human thing. It's obviously very human, but it's not. It's corrupt and it's not correct. And so the selection for your student mobility has got to be fair and transparent. And transparent is a word. Everybody. I've just come back from a country where I was sent to interview the universities about their student mobility. And we interviewed 2 students who'd been on mobility. And they've had an excellent time, a really good time, really learned a lot, and it's been a very big benefit to them, and they take benefits back to the university. So they were very happy. But my point was, okay, you sent me the 2 students who were successful. I would like to interview the students who were not successful. How many students applied? How many students were rejected? What if they were rejected? Why were they rejected? Do they know why they were rejected? Did they have a chance of appeal? Could they appeal against rejection? This is transparency. Now, I wrote this in a report, and now I'm in big trouble because the university now is saying Moscadini is saying bad things about our university. And they say we have to apologize and we're going to leave the project and this is not fair. And what I said was what I thought. I said, well, my opinion. And I don't want to apologize because I think I said what I thought. But they say you must apologize. It's now a big political thing. What's going to happen? But I mean, that's an example. I mean, I think they acted in good faith at university. They thought they were being fair and transparent. But according to the European way of thinking, they were not. And instead of shouting at me and saying, well, you're a horrible man, they should think about what I'm saying and we should talk to each other, come to some agreement. So, I think if you can't say what you think, it's a very bad world. Everybody should be able to say what they think. If what they think is wrong, okay, you say, I don't agree, that's wrong. Fine. But I should be able to say it. No? But this is, so this is the problem with mobility. Social dimension, to make the higher education more socially inclusive. That's one of the objectives, which is difficult to, in a sense, it's to me it's a cliche, but I don't know. Employability is another very big priority. Especially this, reliable and meaningful information on graduate career patterns and progression in the labour market. This is difficult. It means when your students leave the university, keep some records of where they've gone to and get some feedback after 1 year. Did their university courses help them in their job, or the university was relevant to their job? And if so, if not, you then have to change the courses. But I mean, that is difficult because sometimes when students leave, they disappear. You don't know where they're gone. But sometimes we keep quite good records in Cardiff. There's an office that tries to keep track of students, and maybe every year organise a student reunion, come back and meet your friends again, and when they come back, you get the email address and talk to them. And so, get some feedback. Because how do you know what you're doing is correct? You just think, oh, if we teach this, they'll get a job. How do we know that? So, because what's the unemployability is 12%, someone said. So we're not doing it perfectly, are we? 12% can't get jobs. So it says improving the graduate tracking systems. And that's it. So there were the priorities: internationalization, staff mobility, student mobility, the social dimension, and employability. So there are five things that were recommended by this very big conference, and they are the directions of travel at the moment. And these would be things you would think about. Yeah, so that's. Have we got any questions on that? Or yes, concern? Yeah.
Fazer a pergunta em português.
Yeah, okay. Let me have your. No.
Okay.
You speak Portuguese.
Vou fazer a pergunta em português, então. É sobre o penúltimo tópico que foi falado, que é sobre a empregabilidade, né? Nós temos implantado na nossa universidade o que nós chamamos de avaliação do egresso, né? Nós temos um portal onde o aluno preenche um cadastro para nos dizer o que ele está fazendo depois de formado, né? Creio que todas as universidades têm algo semelhante, né? E ali a gente quer saber onde ele está trabalhando, se ele está trabalhando na área que ele se formou. E você disse que isso é uma coisa que é analisado em curso, determinada área. Eu sei que esse tema não é muito ligado, talvez, à internacionalização, mas você colocou aí, no caso da nossa universidade, a Eliane, que é a nossa coordenadora de Relações Internacionais, até incluiu no formulário do egresso para saber se o egresso fez mobilidade, se ele teve aulas em outras línguas, se ele fez cursos de idiomas durante a sua graduação, né? Então, isso também entra na nossa avaliação do egresso. Então, a pergunta é quando é detectado que um curso não está tendo sucesso nesse quesito, o que é feito?
So I mean, I haven't been working full time at university for 10 years, but I know. I mean, Fiat might answer better for Cardiff, but I know when I was at my university in Sunderland, every 5 years, each course was had to go through a review. And in this review, you had to look at what you were teaching. You had to try and get feedback from students, and also you had to get feedback from employers of the region. So you went you telephone the employer and say, look, this is our course, and could you send us, are these skills what you require? Yeah, I mean, I was in the IT department, so maybe it's a bit more precise there. I mean, we could ask questions like, we're teaching C++ at the time, the computer language. Is this what you're using, or should we change to Java or Java Plus or whatever? So I mean, they were quite specific questions, but I think, I don't know what your system is, but I think you need to review your courses every year. I mean, I know when I go to, when I first went to Ukraine, I went and sat in some lectures, and you got this old professor, he's much younger than me, but I thought he was old, but came in, and he started to read some notes, and he'd been doing this for 20 years. The same coach, he'd been just reading these notes for 20 years, and they were useless in the modern world, totally useless. You know? So I mean, that's what you want to avoid. So I think the way to avoid it is to have frequently every 4 or 5 years, is to have a very, very deep review of your course. What are its learning outcomes? I.e., what do the students know when they finish? And are these learning outcomes relevant to society? I mean, I don't know what you do with Cardiff. Yeah, you do
Carry on, I'll talk about that.
You have the same? Yeah, the same. I mean, I'm a bit out of date, but that's what usually happens happening now. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Yeah? Oh, sorry. Do you want to say something? Yeah.
No, I think we do exactly the same, effectively, but things move on. We have a new strategy as well, and this vision is very important that we talked about yesterday and today as well, because the vision will drive everything. So if in the vision you have global, then of course the programs need to reflect how global they are. It's not the case that something sits in the clouds and what happens on the ground is different. So when they go for approval, yeah, there are tick boxes, and one of them would be global. And the program team will need to demonstrate, and the school will need to demonstrate how global this program is. And of course, global can be defined in different ways, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, and we've been talking about this all week. But it is a case, much will depend on what is already in the vision strategy document. And if it's there, it needs to be reflected in the programs, it needs to be delivered in the programs as well. So in other words, on the ground.
Any more questions? I'll hand it over to, yeah.
Is this your USB?
What?
On the desktop, on the desktop. On the desktop.
Sorry?
On the desktop.
That's the next one. You want to go to the desktop one.
It's good. Okay, I think before we touch this, just as a reminder about the questions, we do need the questions of right now. So it's important that we have your questions, any thoughts, any statements, any doubts, because that's why we travel 6,000 miles to share our experiences with you. Like I say, if you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah. So thank you for those. Thank you for one sheet of paper. There's a lot of questions there. But you know, that's what we're here for. So please do give us questions, because straight after this we'll go through some of these questions. I always said to the students is that please do share your questions, but don't expect answers. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Okay, we are actually moving into the final phases of this week. And one of the things we wanted to talk about was how to go about developing internationalization culture within an organization. There's no magic formula. Let me start like that. But universities across the world, especially in the UK, are, especially with the Brexit that's happening, more so now, there's an emphasis of becoming more and more international. And they are the 3 S's that we talked about yesterday, or I talked about yesterday, you remember? Yes, good. Strategy, structures, and staff. So, yes, well done. There are no easy wins. Cardiff Mat is where it is today, not today because of today, but because of the 10 years effort that's taken to get us where we are today. But at every stage we've been evolving, in other words, going from one stage to the next stage. All of us here, Alfredo, myself, and Walker, we have some experiences, and it's good to see we have different experiences. So what I'm going to do here is simply, I have slides, I can show the slides to you, but I wanted to share a few things with you. Like I say, becoming international, especially when you don't feel there's any light at the end of the tunnel, is a challenge. I remember in my previous institution where I worked 14 years, I wasn't an associate dean at all, but I was very much international. As an individual, as a lecturer going into a classroom, I was international. So let me start straight away by saying this, that if you want to see something grow, you need a seed. You are that seed in your organization. Internationalization is not going to come from the top, straight off. It's yourselves being the seed. If you are looking for other people to be the seeds, you can forget it. It will never happen. So that is the message straight off. So let me give you my experience. In the previous university, we had a faculty called Creative Arts, Technology and Science, 6 different departments, and if you go with the abbreviation CATS, it's a meow, it's cats. Yeah? So, but there was no internationalization strategy at all. I can tell you that when I started there. This is going back 16, 17 years. There's no international, this is the previous university. No, nothing. And for many years, and I played various roles in the Department of Computer Science. I was managing 35 programs across different campuses. There wasn't a strategy, but there was international work happening because we had partners. And partners can be individual partners, can be non-academic partners, can be research partners, of course, and can be academic partners, as we talked earlier. And of course, without the strategy, what is the strategy? I see the strategy as putting a water on the seed. Without that, or the sunlight that's going to hit the seed so that it grows, there's always going to be a seed. It wasn't until a new person came to the university. Yeah. Although I was traveling, I was doing all sorts of things on my own, it wasn't until the new person, and who was that person? I talked about the Vice Chancellor, yeah? The Deputy Vice Chancellor, External Relations. Until he came, then after 2 years of him coming, he set up this role, which now you could say is Associate Dean International, which nobody in the university understood. Because they're saying, we're already doing international work, we're doing research, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that. There's plenty of seeds, but there are no plants, there's no flowers, there's no fruits. Yeah? Okay? So people are saying there are seeds, so what else do we need to do? What else is this person going to do? So the first lesson here, before I get into this, yeah, is that internationalization will not just happen, it will require a champion, and that is yourselves. I mean, straight, you know, in English we say we play with a straight bat because we play cricket and so on. In football, you know, we hit the goal. So that's yourselves. And I'm not saying you're not there, you're already there, of course. That's why we're here. So what we need to then do is to see how we can actually move forward. Everything in life, as my colleague will say, is to do with timing. There will be a time when internationalization will be everything in your institution. You may have that vision right now, you may see it right now, but there will be a person who comes who's truly internationalized. And he or she would wonder why the institution, maybe the rector, maybe the deputy rector, maybe somebody else who would say, why experience? And that's what's important. So, trying to create an internationalization culture, effectively, it starts with yourselves. I started with being no other than we had a partner. I was what's called a link tutor. Before I get there, let's. Okay, the first thing we need is champions of internationalization. That's the first thing we need, and that's yourselves. Yeah, there may be somebody else who's interested in international, but you will have the broader context. They will have their focused personal agenda. You need, the next thing you need, and I'll talk about, I actually did talk about this already, but I'll touch again, systems. Your favorite word. You need structures. Structures enable, facilitate, and speed up things. And one of the things they do is internationalization. And then you need global partners. Effectively, people around the world who are going to be you. Yeah, in terms of the way you deliver things and in terms of the way they do things, they're going to actually mirror you and you're going to mirror them. Okay. One of the things, it depends on the type of relationship that you're going to set up. Typically in the UK, you know, I often laugh and I say, people ask me what I do in the school, I said everything beginning with letter I, international. So I'm the marketing person. Yes, I'm the international marketing person. I'm the international admissions person. I'm the international recruitment person. I'm the international student experience person. I'm the international global partner, establishment, management, you name it, anything beginning with international. You talk about the buck stopping with someone, the buck stops with me in the School of Art and Design. Yeah? Okay. So one of the things that eventually happens is, and this is the thing we want to do, is that becoming a seed means that you are actually then looking for some light. The light may be in Brazil, and there's plenty of light in Brazil, but we don't need to reinvent that light. There's already light available in the UK, in the US, and other places where internationalization is big. Look, we are partnering with different universities because we're learning. We could easily say this is the UK. Why do we need anybody else like we're doing with Brexit? And then say, no, hold on, we do need everybody else. We're not going to survive. Yeah. So what we need to do is not to reinvent the wheel, like I was saying yesterday, but to start connecting. Now, Cardiff Met, I work at Cardiff Met, of course, Cardiff Metropolitan University, and I probably would want to say this, but I have to say it, it's one of the best universities for international work. You already got us there. Yeah? We are beyond the stage of just having a seed. We now actually want to grow together. So what we do, hello? That's it. And then I was joking yesterday that I'm not doing yourself like this, and I will, finish in front of the mic stage before me. Do we need the mic?
No, we don't need, but for translation, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, they can hear you inside the box.
They can't?
Take that. Here, you inside the box.
Even if I stand in the middle? Maybe I can go inside the box.
And then we all put the
Maybe I can
so you're
get
talking about get out the box. So don't get in the box, please.
I think once we're waiting, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
I think the beauty of internationalization is when you meet students who have come to you, who have graduated either in their own countries. I'm just talking generally. Or have come to campus, let's say Cardiff Max. You meet them, you meet the parents, and then you truly realize what internationalization is about. But they sit in that company, the company, the factory, your business they've set up and so on, and they say, well, all of this has happened because of yourselves. You are the ones who have inspired me, encouraged me. I, the student, we use social media, and I'm talking of that. My main trust is LinkedIn, or one of these other social media. I had an email, a message from a student I haven't seen for 10 years. Yeah? They graduated from the previous university, they realized I've come to Cardiff, and they just want to say congratulations. And just 2 words, or 1 word. Sir, you were the inspiration for what happened today. And that means, for all of us, it's not me, it's all of us. That's why we are in teaching, that's why we're in education. And this person was from India, thousands of miles away from the UK. And they're successful because they feel that they kept the UK, they were in my classroom, and I must have done something or said something to them. Probably just told them off, which is a normal thing for students, but encourage them to do something. This is what internationalization is about. It's empowering students, giving students that power to raise the game. They have the potential, you take them to the next level. You give them the steps to get to the next level. People ask what internationalization is. This is what I mean now. It's not about me, it's not about Alfredo or it's not about you yourself. It's about the young people, or the people who want to be invested in their life, in the society, in the world.
We've got a request, a list of questions for you.
Yeah, but we haven't got mics, so this is additional entertainment.
I can take the questions and then.
If you like, I can stand on the table and dance for you. Oh, thank you. He said no. So the power of that, and when you get those messages, they really inspire you, and they tell you what international. This person would never have reached their potential if they had not come to the UK. I would not be here today if I didn't internationalize myself. I was working at the Dubai Chamber of Commerce, big building in Dubai. It was an awesome experience. It's a privilege just going into the building. Dubai, big. I was working, looking across the creek. It changed my life. Because in the system we have in the UK is totally different than the system in Dubai. I was working in Germany. Don't speak a word of German apart from good morning. Because they insisted I spoke English, and their English was beautiful. They insisted they wanted to practice English. So these kind of things, because you're out of your comfort zone. Make it truly, and I'm sure it's done to yourself. That's the impact of international. How can it easily sit in my shell and not? We are here to change lives. That's what we do, and to make lives better. And internationalization is the platform to do that. I think my speech will be finished before.
Can I?
Of course, you can have the mic.
For me, what touched me is that I do believe and I do feel all that was saying, we do believe in this, but we have no ways, no means to do it as we want. Then, I myself, when I came to here, I want to not to listen, but to feel and to know some practical advices, advices or ideas or tips that we can use, considering that our possibilities and objectives are very different from yours. In fact, we will never reach the level that Cardiff has now, because we need only in this moment go one step. Yes.
Let me just be absolutely clear. You wouldn't reach the level and you will go beyond us in your own way. There's no way you will not reach. You will have to reach. Simply because what we will be honest. When you're honest, you start like, it's a case where you are. I'm not saying you are there. It's where you are in internationalization. It's a case where you want this to happen, or this to happen. You can't become done here. Or you start to come here. I think what's going to happen is that you're going to come together. By partnering with yourself, we are internationalizing ourselves. It's not one way. One way is just
Yeah.
I personally feel that we need to be.
Okay.
I finished. That's what I think.
Yeah, can I come back to that? Okay. Internationalization. So I'm just going to share a few things in terms of my experience. I think I touched on this already, and then I know you have lots of questions. For all of us, and I'll take a few. I'll take a few related to what I'm saying. What I wanted to say first of all is this: internationalization in the previous university, when I finished there, I was managing 4,000 students, 40 programs across different countries. I was truly I was internationalized and they were being internationalized. That wasn't the starting point. That was the point I left and I came to Cardiff Metropolitan University. Okay, I was just to say, in the UK you have the Quality Assurance Agency that manages and monitors the quality of deliverance within university. I was the person who was representing the whole university as far as international work is concerned. It was a great honor. And they only asked me a couple of questions, and I gave them less is more. I gave an answer, and that was it. And we ended up with good practice because they could see the work that's been done. Look, let me. So these are some of the structures and things that need to happen. So let me address the question straight off in terms of how you start. Look, one way is to think about Everest. I always say to students, the metaphor, the example of Everest. If I said we're going to climb Everest, you would say, Piaz, are you okay? Yeah? Because we haven't got the tools or the equipment to do that. So our role is to get the tools and equipment in order to actually be ready or prepared and so on to do that. So internationalization works the same way. We need to start small and have some winnables. So how do you internationalize? We are internationalizing right now. We got lots of experience coming from different countries, yourselves, ourselves. This is internationalization. It's not a set formula. It's not one thing that's going to fit. Each of your seven institutions here, universities, your internationalization strategy, or at least the deliverance of that, may differ. One may be interested in research, another may be interested in joint masters, another may be interested in mobility, and the list goes on. The starting point will also differ. Will very much depending on where you are. It's amazing, it's amazing. I went, like I said, I came to Cardiff School of Art and Design. There's a wealth of staff who already had connections, but they were looking for a platform. They were looking for someone to champion what they believed in. And once that happened, that seed happened, they became the light. Not me, they were the light. And it's simply just worked that way. So let me start. Look, I gave a few examples yesterday. It's really great just sitting at the tables and learning from yourselves. Resource is always an issue. In the UK as well as here or wherever you go, money is going to be an issue. So let's park that for now. What doesn't cost that much? Technology. The fact we're being recorded, it's on YouTube, it's live, I believe. Yeah, it's live, and it's around the world right now. Yeah. We're internationalizing the world. Yeah. It's costing nothing, apart from my jokes, which are not funny. Yeah. So you can see straight away. The first phase may simply be this. I've talked about a monthly seminar. We could have someone from here, a professor from here, giving a seminar for half an hour, not too long maybe, talking about what they're interested in and so on, and sharing that with staff or students across Cardiff, or we can have it the other way around, or it could be joint. And it could be on a topic that is of interest to you and a topic of interest to us. Straight away. We can organize that tomorrow. It doesn't cost anything. There you have it. Internationalization on the go. After a while, you probably get fed up looking at the person on the screen. You probably want to see them face to face. That is £1,000, £1,500, £2,000. For a large organization, it's peanuts. Yeah, but the return of those £2,000 investment is huge. For the individual who will go and come here, that's why they come here, and learn, like us, we're going back, we are shouting already on the social media, but when we go back to the UK, we'll be shouting even more. People will say, oh, you can see, oh, they're nice pictures, and then we start. Yes? Internationalization. We take the waterfall, yeah, the dam, and everything else in yourselves back to Cardiff. That's what's going to happen once I reach the office. Internationalization is happening on the go. It's costing nothing really. So you can see the processing can start, and then we start looking. Look, if I wanted to connect with Cardiff now, first thing I would do, next to ourselves, is look at the website. Say, I'm interested in this. Is there anybody in Cardiff who is interested in this? Yeah, it could be research, it could be teaching. Look, I'll give you another example. I used to teach creative technologies, and one of the things was that, look, I needed to actually, with the Adobe suite, Photoshop, Premiere, Soundboard, those kind of packages, yeah, image editors, yeah, video editors, sound editors. I had to, and I wanted a practical course, hands-on practical course. So one way is that you reinvent the wheel. You start using your own slides, yeah. One way is to do that. What a waste of time. Waste of time. There's tons of books written on Photoshop, for example. There's plenty of resources on the website. So what did I do? I searched the website. So when I did that, I came up with a whole set of slides from an institution in Canada. So what did I do then? I didn't just download it and use it. No. I contacted the person in Canada who I don't know. I said, this blah blah blah. Later on, whatever the name was. Yeah, I've seen that these guys. I'm looking at using this. Do you have your permission? Because you need consent. So the guy was so happy. He came back and he said, "Wow, thank you so much for asking. Of course you can use it. If you need anything more, just ask me. So my numbers and so on." Internationalization on the go. Yeah, saved me days of work trying to produce the slides. The slides are already produced. The example is there. For 3 months, I was on the beach while the students were working sweating. Now, I was there, but I was taking the students to the next level. I wasn't going to do, I said, this resource is already available for you. Yeah, already happening. So, for example, if there are courses that we are doing in Cardiff Met, and there are many, we have different subject areas, yes, then you're doing it. You may want to actually say, well, hold on, why don't I connect? Now you have the means, a way, through a Bucker or myself or Alfredo, yeah, you can easily connect and start talking.
And when you use the material of another professor, you put the students and this professor in contact also.
Exactly.
You contact the professor personally, and then grow their research. It's for them.
But I'm talking here about because most of us are in the teaching side. We come to research. Yeah. So here you got collaboration, working together on the teaching side, and then of course the assessments and everything. Once you start working on an individual level, things start happening. Look, I'm sure colleagues in Cardiff will be more than happy to talk to colleagues in Brazil. Yeah, and if it doesn't happen, we can be the platform to support that. Yeah, so you have, there is already things happening that it doesn't actually cost that much. In fact, it reduces your workload, and then you can focus on other interesting things. So already things are happening. And then, of course, it can become a little bit more formal. I mean, with the research side, it's always there. I mean, you can do the same. For example, in Cardiff School of Art and Design, we have art sciences and other subject areas. You can see there will be a whole section on research groups, research interest, individual interest, which may not be part of the group. Yeah? Okay? Or you can simply write. You can write directly to me, out in the schools or at the Buckler, for example, and we can try to put you in touch with someone who may be able to help. So you look for tips. I don't know how many. I lost count how many tips I've given for free. So I think. So these are small wins straight up. Come next year, let's say we're having this session, you will be coming back and say, "Wow, I tried this and this worked. Oh, yes, I tried this, but that person wasn't really responsive." Could be a reason for it, could be busy for something else. But that's the stage we're going to reach. It's not the case next year, well, we're still thinking about reason. The rector's not happy with internationalization, so nothing has happened. This is nothing to do with the rector. This is more to do with yourselves. It's more to do with what you want to bring to the classroom. I gave the example of when I was at college. After school, you go to college and then into the university, typically in the UK. And the lecturer was teaching us about motors, because it's electrical engineering, that's my original background. And I remember something that I will never forget. I don't know what he did before, I don't recall what he did after, but what he did then was he jumped on the table. If I jump on this table today, you will remember it for the rest of your life because I'll fall off. Yeah? But that's what he did. He stood on the table and he animated how the motor works. And I can picture it right now, many years after. That's thinking out of the box. So it's sharing good practices, it's transferring knowledge, it's transferring the skill set, it's having that understanding. Of course, we can take it to the next level. The next level is what? The next level is where we can have staff, for example. Yeah? Staff from Cardiff, one member comes there for a week, yeah? They're looked after, yeah? There's a costing model to go with that, but they are then able to take some workshops with staff, with students throughout the week, like we are doing, but they are on subject-based. They are particularly subject-based that contributes to the curriculum. Again, how much does it cost? It's minimal. Yeah, the experience that the students will get will be exactly the opposite. Yeah, maximum. The same thing, a tutor can go from here, a visiting professor can go from here and go to Cardiff. Yeah? We would welcome that. We have, in fact, as I go back to the school, we have 3 professors coming from Egypt, from Al-Albani University. Yeah? They'll be with us for the whole week, exactly for this reason, to share their experiences and to also learn from us. They're not going to stay there forever, just a week, but they're going to take that back to the classroom and share that experience with them. The next level, I guess, and I haven't got these slides, I'm just sharing my experience, is students, where we take a group of students, maybe 3, maybe 5 initially because of cost. They come to Cardiff, we do a series of workshops live, there and then. They get the experience, they come back, talk about it, tell the world, next year you've got 10 students, 20 students, and so on, wanting to come. And they're willing to pay. Yeah. Every country where I've been, yeah, they start by saying, oh, we don't have any money, we don't have any resource. And then suddenly some resource comes, some money comes, things start happening, because you are now making the road. And people are wanting to go on this road. And people want to be part of a success story. Everybody in life, whether it's politicians, yeah, whether it's a university lecturer like myself, we all want to be part of a success story. Internationalization is that success story. Then we can go to the next level. Yeah. Once we have this, so we have what's called mobility, which Freddie, you talked about earlier, yeah, which is very important. The next stage is exchange, where exchange is effectively is mobility, but students stay longer. Yeah. So, for example, I said to yourselves earlier that my students, 3 of them, we had mobility arrangement with the Beijing Institute of Fashion Technology, top institution in Beijing. And I sent 15 students, 2 staff members, to go for 10 days. And then 6 months later, 3 of those students, or 3 students, went and stayed there for 3 months. First time they should live in home, first time living in the country, and the experience they had was awesome. There was a problem. What was the problem? Language. Yeah? Okay? They didn't speak Chinese, and of course, Chinese, some of them actually, they were very good in English, but most weren't, the tutors, but they survived. Yeah? Because we put in mechanisms. Because every week they were having a Skype call with their tutor here in the UK. Where there's a will, there's a way. Language is never going to be a barrier. If you see something good, yeah, you're always going to buy it, irrespective of the language. If it's a good price, you will buy it. Yeah, you won't say, oh, I don't speak that language. Let me learn that language and then I'll come back. Yeah?
We really have this. People are not confident. So I think that when I say about the potential, it's just say, even if you don't speak English, you can go, you can experience.
Very much so. I think, look, I think you have to, for me, your middle name is positive, yes? Yeah, we can look at all sorts of challenges. All sorts of challenges. And if I start talking like that, you will never step out of this door. Yeah? But you have to look at the opportunities. I went to Dubai. I can speak Arabic. I have little knowledge of Arabic. I went to Germany. I stayed there for 3 years or something in Germany. Yeah? I don't speak German. You may say, well, they speak good English. No, that's not true. You go to the offices, they don't speak English at all. And many of them in Germany, because of history, they don't want to speak English. Because of the Second World War and so on. Yeah? So you have all sorts of things happening. Yeah? Where there's a will, there's a way. Look, we have students in the university from 100 countries, yeah, on campus. We have home students. Even the home students, they have backgrounds coming from different countries. Their parents probably came from different countries, migrants and so on, like myself. So we do speak different languages. We do have different cultures. Language shouldn't be, language is just this, but you see and you hear, you smell, and the other senses as well. Creativity, like, we had 3 students from Amman, from College of Applied Sciences. They came to learn and we did workshops with them. They didn't speak that good English. It was all hands-on. So I think there's 2 things. 1, money market. 2, language market. Yes, because they're not the areas, they are the thorns, you may say, in the roses that I'm talking about. If you start living in the thorns, then it's going to be very, very painful. And you won't have any roses, if you follow the analogy. So the next stage to this is effectively, once you have this, they don't have to be, in a sequence. It's not 1, 2, 3. They can all happen at the same time if you want to, depending how confident you are. Yeah. So next thing is, now we know each other, marriage. Yeah. Partnership. Yeah. TNE. Many institutions around the world, what they're looking for is they want the students to stay with them for the degree, and then they still want them to stay, but they want a UK qualification like a master's or a top-up, a final year top-up or something. Some want the whole degree program, yeah. And so you start setting up what's called TNE, transnational education. So this is where we could have your programs approved so that they get UK qualifications with Cardiff Met, or we can have our programs given to you and you deliver them here, as we would deliver them in the UK, and we support you in both mechanisms. We support you. Yeah. That becomes, why is that important? Well, it's important because then there's a bridge, because that's what we're doing. We're creating different bridges. Now you've got a big bridge. You've got staff and students who have a reason to talk to one another. Yeah, about the learning, about the teaching, about the delivery, about what happens in the classroom, about the practice, whatever, assessments, everything. You are empowering, we are staff developing as we go along. And we are learning, it's a two-way process. A bridge is a two-way process. It's never like this in a school like this way, that everything comes downwards. It's this way, it's flat. Because it has to be a two-way process. I learned a lot. I can tell you now, I've learned a lot just being here this week. Yeah? And, this is the way it works. So once you have that set up, then you have student mobility, student exchanges, student transfers. Let's say a student is sitting in Brazil and they feel that they can afford, and the parents want them to go to the UK in the final year of the degree program. It's easy because it's the same program. There's no issues with credits, yeah, because we already set that up as a system. That would be part of the validation program. So you start to set this up, that becomes very, very formal now. That you have, basically the students, they will then become Cardiff Met students as well as your students, and depending on the arrangements, yes, we can have different scenarios, yeah, which will support the students. But effectively, what will happen is, when you become a partner, when we become a partner, you are us and we are you. That's what happens. And you are truly now internationalized. Of course, that doesn't mean all the staff, all the senior management, everybody in the university is internationalized. Not at all. I said to you, 4,000 students and so on, believe me, my role was to actually internationalize every section of the university. Because you cannot have a system. Because one of the things that we look for is comparability. This experience that the students are going to. It cannot be the case that students on the same program have different experience. They are similar, not the same experience, similar type of experience. So in terms of support, for example, students are looking for support. They're looking for in-class support. They're looking for out-class support. When you realize how good an institution or organization is. It can be any organization when things go wrong. What are the safety nets? When let's say you book a flight and it's delayed, what is the airline doing about it? We had that experience when we came. Yes. Yeah. And then it goes on, and of course you can work in masters, joint masters. I'll give you the example. The example of SADI, Samson Art and Design Institute. I touched on before. The model we had was very simply this. In the UK, the masters is for 1 year. Yeah, for 1 year, not 2 years. In Europe, it's mainly 2 years. So we have 1 year masters. It's effectively 3 semesters. You start in September, let's say, you finish the following September, October. Yeah? Okay. So these students were from South Korea. They were at Samson Art and Design Institute for 2 semesters plus. They came all the way to be with us in the UK. That is the joint masters. Yeah? That is a setup that we had. It was interesting that the first semester, most of it was at Cardiff. A number of these students wanted to stay with us and didn't want to go back to Samson, which says something, I think. Yeah? But this is a model that you can have. And later on today, we'll be talking about research. And I'll leave that with them in terms of how we can work together in terms of research. So, I just want to make sure I covered everything. This thing is going to say, ensuring optimum support 24/7, you become the international. Now, in the School of Art and Design, I can only talk about School of Art and Design, I'm international. People don't see me as Fiaz. I hope they do, but they don't see me as Fiaz, they see international. So if there is any problem, and normally it's a problem that people want to resolve, they say, oh, Fiaz, send me a message or tell the student to go and see me. So that means you are making impact. They're not ignoring the fact you are there. 24/7 service. And I gave the example that in the previous university, I was either brave or otherwise. I actually put my mobile number on the door, my personal mobile number on the door. And I actually didn't just do it on the door, I put it in the international office and across all the sort of admin, where all the administration was. And you always say, wow, what a crazy guy. Yeah? I learned something when I was at another university, where my office was here, and in the corridor across was the lab, And every week and every other day, there was obviously students going to this lab, computer lab, and every day there was noise. Yeah? And what do? You think out of the box. Yeah? But one way is to go and shout at the students and tell them off. No. I opened the door. I left the door open. Guess what happened when the students arrived? Silence. Because now they don't want to hear what they're talking about. Yeah? You have to think out of the box. So I put my mobile phone. Nobody else in the university, forget it. You would never see that anyway. You see that maybe more common now in some places, but it wasn't the case then. So this is when I started playing my role at the previous university. And you would say that, oh, that was a silly thing to do because you would have got phone calls left, right, and center. We had, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 international students. Yeah? I'll tell you now that in the 6 years I was there playing this role, I was in USA. Yeah? One was around 7 o'clock in the evening, which is not late. And one was on a Saturday afternoon. And they both started like this, different people, both started like this. Oh, Dr. Fiaz, I'm really sorry. I know I'm calling at a bad time, but this is urgent. Can you help me? Yeah? So you can see the mannerisms straight away. And then conversation went. Just 2 calls. But what it did, it gave confidence to the students that there was somebody there for them, 24/7. Yeah? And that, you have that confidence with it. Also, it also gave confidence to the staff that Fiaz was available. Yeah? Although they weren't, they had a 9-to-5 job. And in fact, they insisted it was 9 to 5. Yeah? But they had the confidence. What you've done, you've started to internationalize the mindset. Not just internationalize, you start to set up a new structure within the university of how we support the students. Okay? So, I mean, these are small things, but internationalization isn't all about travel. Internationalization is the experience one has and being able to motivate young people, which are students typically, or the staff to become, often people ask me, that must mean you travel the world all the time. Actually, I don't. It gives the perception I do. I think Boga may disagree. Yeah? This is my second travel, I think, this year. This year is what, June, middle of June? It's not about me. I'm basically trying to internationalize the staff. So what do? I send the staff. I give you the example. Yeah, you had staff. This is an internationalization train. There's some people already on it. Some people are thinking about it. Some people don't want to know. Yeah. My role, your role, is to do what? Yeah, is to make sure this train moves and keeps them moving. And when people see that this train is going somewhere, those people think about it, they'll jump on. Those people who won't think about it, they will move on to the next level and start reflecting. I have staff who would never have traveled. They said to me, Fiaz, I would never have traveled. People have asked me how you managed to get the travel. What did I do? I just went and I said, oh, would you like to go to Taiwan for 2 weeks? Oh, how would me? Yeah, it's great stuff, isn't it? You go there and that's it. You have that conversation, you start something like that. It may be the case, oh, Fiaz, no, I can't go. Or mostly it's going to be, let me think about it. Can we change the dates? Yeah, can we do that? Now you've got persons interested. Now they've moved on to the next phase. Yeah. But you have to give. Life is about giving and taking. I don't know how much time I have, but I'm trying to give some scenarios. So what are the benefits of internationalization? I'm just going to read this through. Increase of presence overseas, facilities internationalization of curriculum, very, very important. What are we trying to do? We are trying to empower young people to be global players. You want to lead the world, then you have to know what the world is about. Yeah? What happens if you don't do it? Well, of course you can't compete with the rest of the world. Then your economy will suffer. Once your economy suffers, everybody suffers within that. It's very simple formula. So empowers the staff enrichment because staff involved, yeah? Provides a vehicle to share good practice. Why are we reinventing the wheel? What are you delivering here? We are delivering a Cardiff and vice versa. Why are yourselves spending 6 hours producing slides and whatever when they're already there? You can fine-tune them to make it more resilient, clever, yeah, more sunshine, yeah. But apart from that, that saves you time to do something else. Maybe some research, yeah. Maybe some pet project, maybe some outreach work, yeah. This makes I had a company manager, a young man from India, who came to us from, and he was interested in Cardiff School of Art and Design. And one of the things we have is we refer to as an incubation space. Yeah, incubation space, which is after you graduate, some students stay with us for a year. We call it Ink Space. And basically what this is it allows a few students, yeah, to stay with us for a year. They get space, they have access to all the workshops, which some of you will see when you come in October. And it's awesome, yes. They also, this graduate now also has a mentor, academic mentor, as well as a business mentor, because they need to know about how to run a business, taxes, regulations, law, customer rights, and all that. Yeah, and they have the platform to connect with outlets outside, so that they can actually then grow their business. Give you an example. One of our students, fine artist, he was doing a painting that size, let's say, and before he graduated, he did something like this. It cost us nothing. Within 6 months, the same painting was selling in London for £4,000. So imagine the transformation from going from that stage to that stage. Yeah. So this is that's the ink space. So we provide the platform for students to actually become global. So we had this Indian visitor, I was saying, a very smart lad, and he looked at the ink space and he said, "You know what? I want to take this back to India." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, I said, "What do you want to take back?" In fact, what he wanted was the students. Why? Because they have the creative ideas. Because they can make things in India very quickly. But you need a mindset, you need a design mindset. So the point I'm making here, this is how internationalization works. We had the ceramics part, the minister from Oman come, I give the example, looked at the ceramics, so impressed. Yeah, we want this back in Oman. Why? Because they want young people to be empowered with something practical. Yeah. Alfredo, you put some slides up about preparing for jobs that don't exist and so on. This is what we do. We are preparing our students not for employment, but to become employers. And not just any employers, but global players. Students, when they go abroad, for example, the first message you get, the first line is, "This has been a life-changing experience." And these are your final year students typically, who are going to graduate in two months' time, and who have been abroad before, but because you set it up in a certain way. So research and employability, I can take some questions on this. The key thing here, when people talk about money, internationalization delivers on money. It's not the other way around. And this is what people, the first S, need to understand, the strategy. Yeah? Internationalization gives money in different ways. We can talk about that as well. Okay, this is my experience for what the benefits are. You get student mobility, great thing, empower students to be greater. Yeah, you get students who are able to actually taste different cultures. Yes, and then when students come here, they're not just benefiting. The students in the classroom will benefit once they go. If you see our degree show like here, you walk through like now. You have exhibition, you can tell that student has been internationalized. Because the design, the way they've done it, the thinking is different than other students. This I talked about, workshops and so on campus, yes. You have partners. Whatever you deliver, of course you believe in what you deliver in Brazil, but you want to share it, and then you want whatever you deliver on campus here, you want hubs of these platforms across the world. So when we talk in Cardiff, when I was in Nantes with Nadia, they mentioned you, yes? Yeah, they mentioned Brazil and so on, and that's why we are here. And that's the beauty of networking. That's the beauty of having hubs and so on. Global visibility, increased international ranking. Students, it may not be the case now, maybe in 5 to 10 years' time here, students will increasingly be looking at the ranking, international ranking. In the UK, it's happening right now. Yeah, where is your international ranking? Why should they come and study with you? Yeah, you may say it's free, but you find that a number of countries, education is free too. That cannot be the motivation. In the UK, probably is one of the most expensive. I think US is much more expensive because they keep bringing up and saying how cheap UK education is, but that's not the story. Yeah? But UK is number one, or one of the top countries where students go, and they pay a lot of money. So having free education is not the motivation here. Having quality education is. So what we need to do in summary, we want to develop win-win scenarios. I'm a great believer in win-win scenarios. We are not here to win and you lose. This is not a football match. Or not today, tomorrow morning it will be. When Brazil play. We are here to win together. And not just as institutions, but as staff, as students, in terms of our resource base, in terms of our learning, in terms of our experience, in terms of our practice, and so on. And then this, of course, most of the universities have already the infrastructure. You already have the small S. What you don't have is the I in that S. Typically, internationalization is bolted on. You have a system here, and you just bolt on, international whatever it is. It doesn't work. Well, it works. It's a fudge. It's like a car, you have the tire gets punctured, you put another tire on, but you don't take the previous tire off. It may work, but it doesn't work the same way as it should work. Yes? So this is what, you have to have a strategy so the systems are smooth for everyone. Okay. I'm not on Duracell batteries. That's it for now. So if there are any questions, I hope there won't be any because that was a good presentation. No, it wasn't.
Thank you so much. I have a couple of questions here, delivered by some people. So this one, these are in English, so I think maybe you could read and summarize. And another one that is in Portuguese, I'll translate it so that we could explain a little bit.
Before we do that, I just want to know if there are any questions on my presentation, if anybody needs any questions. There's questions on the podium. One? There's a question on the podium.
Sorry, what I was going to say, if anybody needs clarification on anything I've said so much, I think, maybe too much. But I was trying to get you to the point of saying, wow, internationalization is what we need to do it.
I feel that we can do it now.
Okay.
I start to feel we can do it.
Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. If there are any no questions for me, so that means, like I said before, you either understood me you have a question. There's a question?
It's not just a question, but since my PhD, I've been studying about citizenship education. And so is it possible to give us or to share with us some reference or some authors that have been studying about TNE, transnational education?
Since your PhD,
I've been studying about citizenship education. And I would like to study something more about transnational education. Is there some reference?
I think that's a question. We can take that question forward. I know that's a very specific subject based.
Yeah.
We can take that forward. We have a Cardiff School of Education, for example, and policy.
They should be able to assist. I mean, in terms of research and so on, we will talk about PhD later on today. So that's why I didn't talk about research at all, because Alfredo is going to give a presentation, and so am I later on today. But in terms of your specific question, we can take it forward. So the other thing we should say is that if you can't cover any of your topics for one reason or another, like that one, then by all means drop us a line, email. If you don't have our email address, well, mine's there, but other colleagues, just drop us a line and we'll take it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to sit down.
So, yes, thank you so much for the insightful presentation. I think a lot of us will have, of course, different contexts, university contexts, And with your examples, we could think somehow how to start and how to have the roadmap for our internationalization actions in each of our universities. So the question I received here is considering that the universities, they live on a planning dilemma. And we have the commitment to act regionally for the regional development. But at the same time, we need to think globally. So how to integrate the regional development, the need for regional development together with internationalization.
I think it's a good question. It's a good question. It's such a great question. This Mike is reacting to it. Is there interference?
Yeah,
I think this mic has the answer. I think the way it works in internationalization is that we don't come with a prescribed agenda. We can't come here and say that this will work for you. What we can say is what has worked for other regions and other countries. What we need to do with this kind of question is to work together and to see what are the strengths, and what are the constraints. And through that, we can start to identify a path, a roadmap. It's not the case that we can sit here and say, this is the solution. I mean, our colleagues are welcome to say what they want. But from my end, it's always challenging, because I think when it comes to internationalization, I think perception is that somebody from outside will come and internationalize us. That is then, of course, we share our experiences, but you need to internationalize yourself in the way that's best suited for your region, because we don't know what your constraints are.
I think everything comes down to words, meaning of words, regional needs, internationalization. I don't think they're different. I think when you look underneath the words at the what you're talking about, it's the same thing, and especially, as I say, we've not got to look at today. We've got 2018. We've got to look at say 2025, 2026, and industries are just becoming international. You cannot now have a regional, or I don't think you have a regional or a national industry. Every industry you've got in this region, including the Tapu Dam and everything, and tourism and whatever, it's now international. It is international. If it's not international, it will become international, and it has to be international. So there's not a difference between these two things. I think your regional needs will become international needs, and as universities, you will respond to them in a manner. Like, it's just a natural development of what's going to happen.
If I can just add, thank you both, thank you, Freedom. I think they are already international in a way. It's just you're at the stage that you're probably not fully realizing this yet. But everything that is happening in the region is already international, probably at a different level. For example, Brazil is a hub now for motor industry. It's known for export. You're probably leading the Western Hemisphere in this production line. Fred mentioned tourism, as mentioned education. So you probably already, well, you are actually already internationalized, but it's just probably not fully integrated yet. But all the time will take you there to fully integrating between the regional needs and the international reach out to your institution.
I mean, where do your regional needs come from? Who decides regional needs? I don't know. I mean, it's not someone sitting in the office somewhere in Cuba saying this is our regional need. It's there's some people set up an industry in Paraná, and then they find that they can have a contact in China or in India, and so they start working with internationally. And the need self-developing. It's not said by someone in authority. It develops. It's a self-organizing process, and universities should come to. I mean, I'm independent, really. Although I'm attached to Cardiff, I'm in a sense independent. I can look at, I've been a professor at many universities, and can give a detached view at the university level. And I think the biggest problem for universities, as I said in my talks, is to change their curriculum. I think in most universities, I mean, I'm impressed by FIAS, because in FIAS they seem to be doing what I would think is a good development. But in most departments, in most universities, I think the curriculum are out of date. They're teaching things that are maybe useful today, maybe. But as my video showed you, things are changing so much that in 4 or 5 years, what you're teaching students now is out of date before they leave the university. So to me, the most important thing is to get your curriculum, and when you're developing your curriculum, obviously you have an international outlook with it. It's impossible not to have, really. If you have to design a curriculum in anything, in social history, in politics, political science, in creative arts, in mathematics, in physics, you can't design a curriculum today without having an international dimension, else it wouldn't be very good curriculum. And so these things just are coming as they come.
Right. We have a list of questions, and are you okay for us to go through them and provide answers? I'm sure you spent a lot of time on them. It's good to touch base before we move to the next session. First question here, it's highlighting that it's impossible to send all your students abroad, and what benefits, as this is not possible, what experience your home students will gain by receiving international students. It's a very good question. Well, the benefits are endless, really. It's, as it's rightly mentioned, it's, I won't say impossible, but it's very, very difficult to mobilize all your students. However, by welcoming students from overseas, they will provide, or they will bring with them the national culture, the different languages, their experience from studying in a different university overseas, coming from any country. It doesn't have to be the UK, but other international or other countries around the world. They will also bring integration, and they will bring ideas and knowledge. They will learn a lot from your students at home, as well as your students will learn a lot from them. There can be a lot of common projects, a lot of common activities, excursions, student fairs and expertise that they can exchange between themselves. And they can start forming other ideas and other projects that they can work with or on beyond their duration of staying at your university. So these are just some of the benefits that you will get from welcoming international students to your university.
Well, when I agree with Fiaz, I mean, the first stage of internationalization is free tomorrow. If you wanted me to give a lecture to your students, I could go on Skype tomorrow and give you an hour lecture to your students for nothing. Right? Totally free. If you want to do research, we could find you a professor in Cardiff or in another university, and who's in the same area, and you write a paper together. Write a joint paper. It's doing international research. It's free. It helps you, it helps him, it helps university. So I think cost is a good excuse. We can't do this because we haven't got the money. Where do we get the money? And Fias has been saying, I think in his talk, that that's not the first consideration. Just start doing something. Do a Skype lecture to our students in Cardiff about Brazil, about the dam, about the Italian dam. Just start doing things, and we've got all of the new social internet connections, with Skype, with Viber, with WhatsApp, with all sorts of connecting devices, books, everything, and it's free. So I don't agree with the first line as a saying about money. I think money is an excuse. It becomes important. Okay, someone's going to come and study a Cardiff for 1 year. Then there's things about fees and things. Okay, right. But to start off the process, I think you can do it for nothing.
We need to move with the questions. So next question for us.
Yeah, I think what we want to do is, because there's a number of questions, we quickly want to say something, and then we want to hear from your side, but you'll have more sort of clarification points. The question here is, what are the activities that Cardiff students participating in mobility abroad are supposed to develop when they do, when do they return? In other words, what do they bring into the classroom? I think Bakar has already rightly touched on some of those things. I think what they bring is the excitement. First thing, I mean, there's no better way of actually bringing something new into the class. Yeah, if you once you have that experience, and it can be a 10-day thing. Like I said already, that we have students who are really close to graduating, and they've had all sorts of opportunities. They went to China, for example. They come back and they use the word like this is life-changing. What would you think they have seen in 10 days that would be, or 9 days, or a week that would be life-changing? They must have seen something. There's an impact straight away. They certainly realize there's a different world out there. It's not all about the Western type of lifestyle and so on, I guess. There's a different culture, there's a different environment, and so on, it goes on. So they bring that into the classroom. But more so, it's an excellent question, because what we don't want is the student then living in isolation with that experience. We need platforms in the classroom, and that's up to the. I always think of the rest next to the senior management and so on. The academics, they are the most treasured people at the institutions, because they are the ones who are going to be delivering the quality. So it's up to the tutor. For example, if I was the tutor and I knew a group of students have gone abroad, one of the first things I would say is I have to talk to them and say, are you prepared to actually share your experiences? And believe me, 9 out of 10, they probably already have shared everything on Facebook, with all the photos and everything, and the blogs and whatever. And they'll be, honored to do that. Once you start that process, then other students buy into the idea. Look, I'll give you an example, a China trip. We have in the university what's called a short-term mobility funding. It's internal funding, and we can touch on that. Yeah, we were successful in the first year to send a group of 15 students to China. I had a 2-week window where I asked for expressions of interest, and here the students were also contributing. This is not full payment; this is part payment. The students were also contributing £500. Now, £500 is a lot of money even in the UK for students. Guess how many students stepped forward with it? I was told, Fiaz, you'll be lucky to get, I needed 15. He said, Fiaz, this is your first year here, you're new here, you'll be lucky to get 3-4 students. I had 49 students on for 15 places. So, I could have easily said, listen to them and said, oh, this is a waste of time, nobody's going to do this. Yeah? So when, you have to, we need to provide the opportunity. Students come back, they do joint projects, they do joint everything, they share experiences, they talk about not just the educational side, but the cultural side, And then what happens out of that, other students want to go. This year, I'm sending 4 students for exchange visit to China. 4 students, all fashion students who want to go to fashion industry. So things happen. It's effectively, I think the answer to this question in short is very much depends on the staff member who's involved and how they're going to accommodate this experience back into the classroom.
I think it's especially, my great life-turning experience was when I had some students from Sweden. I taught in Sweden for a month, and I had some students from and I was teaching mathematics, and the question came up that a student had in the exam he had given an equation to solve, and he unfortunately just missed out a minus sign, so he'd written down the wrong equation. He had a minus sign to the plus sign, and he solved the equation correctly. And the question is how many marks should you get? You haven't solved my equation, you made a mistake and write it down. But he had solved the equation. And in England, we mark out of 20 marks, top mark. I said, maybe I'll give him 18, 19, because he obviously understood what he was doing. He just made a careless mistake in the first line. So 18, 19, but I was feeling happy on that, 18, 19. In Sweden, he got 0, because I asked him to solve this equation, and he solved another equation and said, this is not right. The guy's careless. He gets 0. A completely different attitude towards marking. This really made me stand back and think, wow, who's right here? Who's right here? Another thing is, if we fail an exam in England, if you fail an exam, maybe you get one more chance to do it. And then if you don't do it the second time, then you failed. In Russia, you can take the course or the exam 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And eventually you pass. I said, that's crazy. And I said, why is it crazy, Alfredo? This guy understands. He eventually took him a long time, but now he understands. He's passed. He's got the skills. So why do you have to have the skills in first time? You know? And I was thinking, I don't know. That's the way we do it in Britain. So the students coming back ask you questions which make me think, as a teacher, make me think, wow, well, we do it this way. Why do we do this? Of course, we've always done it this way. But maybe there's another way of doing it. In their countries, a different way, and they bring this back. And it makes the staff better teachers. It makes you think about what you're doing. So it's really, I mean, they were my experiences.
Thank you. The third question is, there is a program for the Cardiff students going abroad and can work promoting and spreading British or whatever culture in the country where they are. In addition, how? Okay, we have a unique platform called ICM, International Credit Mobility, which we're actually Cardiff is one of the leading institutions in the UK coordinating such a scheme. It's funded by the European Commission, and it's valid in 2020, in which students and staff can go abroad, anything between a week to 10 months, to study and engage with other international partners. So we've been very active in this between the UK and the Middle East and Asia and Southeast Asia. So I think our next level of engagement will be, should be, with South America and definitely Brazil. Yes. We'll give example.
I was just saying quickly, those students who went to China, they went for a specific reason, for teaching purposes and for learning purposes. But what I did was also giving them the opportunity to travel in China as ambassadors for the school. So this is exactly what this question is about. Yes, I mean, we look at the opportunity. We have a China office. We have staff are there. They helped us with that. So they went to another city, for example. China is very big, as we know. Yeah. So it was an awesome experience for them. So we do look for providing students with extended experience beyond the mobility.
There's some aspects of British culture that I wouldn't want to go abroad, especially the hooliganism, football, and anyway. But I think just let it go. I mean, the students will go and they will spread their culture. That's it. They'll mix with people. The culture will spread as it goes. The next question, an issue is to overcome the idea, deep-rooted idea, that internationalization is related only to mobility. But I think Fire has answered that question really. There's many more advice.
There's a question that was asked, I think we answered yesterday, but on a one-to-one basis. So ask Cardiff networking for possible prejudice that foreign students might experience in the UK. Well, 15, 20 years ago, this might be the case, but at the moment there is none. So our international students get excellent treatment, equal or even better than students. It's our University of Cardiff is truly an international university. Everything that we do, all the facilities, the resources, the student support, the services, before, during, and after you graduate are all integrated within or to enrich your international experience as a student. There was a question that was raised yesterday about the alumni sort of community. If I may add this, the international community as well, community as well. We have between 70 to 80,000 graduates. They're all over the world. We have one of the strongest alumni communities in the UK. And wherever I go, there's always a Cardiff Med graduate who will welcome us as a delegation or on a personal level, and he will help us integrate in a better way with the country that we're going to. I was in Sri Lanka, and the resort manager was a graduate of Cardiff Met. The hospitality department, marketing and hospitality. I was in Egypt, and the head of auditing, or the head of accounting, one of the leading multinational companies, is a Cardiff Met graduate. So you go anywhere, you'll find a friend, you will find someone who had the international experience back home, who would be more than happy to share it with you and build the bridges, as we say, because your relationship with your institution will not end by the time you graduate. As I was talking yesterday about sustainability. It's not only sustainability about partnerships, but sustainability about your graduates and your staff as well, on the short and the long term. So it's a lifelong really relationship.
Well, I think life's life. I think, unfortunately today, there's a lot of prejudice in the world, a lot of it. And you can't avoid that. I'm sure there's prejudice in Brazil between various states and various cultural indigenous population in Brazil. I've been subject to prejudice all my life, being with a strange Italian name in Britain. There's prejudice everywhere. I think two things we can do is, one, Cardiff will help in the way that there's a mechanism there. If a student is really getting bullied or suffering prejudice, you can go to a student, and the university will help as much as they can. But they try to eliminate the prejudice. The other thing is to have courses for people who go and say, look, maybe you won't get this prejudice, maybe you'll get this or that or that or that, and just prepare them and say what we'll do in such circumstances. I mean, we're not mothers and fathers to our children. These people are 18, 19, 20, 30 years old. Life's life. And my advice is just take it on the chin. And I mean, if it's really, really serious about sexual prejudice or sexual harassment, obviously there are mechanisms inside the university which will help, and the police will help, and everything like that. But you're going to get called names. Whatever country, and whatever country goes to whatever country, you'll get called names, and there'll be some sort of prejudice among some people. I mean, not. The British, I think, actually are very tolerant, very tolerant. There's much more racism in Italy, I found, than there is in the UK. But racism exists. Let's not pretend it doesn't. It exists, right? Well,
we've got a request to wrap up in a few minutes. So Fayez will take the last two questions and.
2 minutes.
Okay, the question here is how is, on the legal point of view, the process of recognizing the credits? This is nothing new. This is bread and butter stuff for all of us who have been teaching. When it comes to recognizing advanced entry, so a student who wants to go into a second year of a degree program, undergraduate program, we need to ensure that the student has already, the applicant has already, or first 2 years, depending on where they're coming from. The process is quite clear. We will know the learning outcomes for the program they're going into and the experience our students will have. We need to be fair on the applicant so that when they join in the second year, that they're able to deliver, so that they, is comparable to the students who would have been on the program anyway. So you need the modules, you need the motor descriptors, you need the learning outcomes, the standard thing. So this is bread and butter's question. So it's not the case of credits can be recognized. If there's a formal agreement, then the formal agreement part of that would be to actually recognize these credits beforehand. So that we will know that if a second year student wants to go in the final year, we would already know the process for that. It may be the case we would just simply accept the passing of the second year and that be the progression onto the third year to our program. Or it may be the case that in addition to that, there's an interview, yeah, or there's something else. But that would be an agreement between institutions. The other question, quickly moving on, are you working on the establishment of online courses? The simple answer to that is yes. This is the direction of travel, but we will not be doing it for all courses. They will be piloted for some courses because the online experience compared to face-to-face experience is totally different. Yeah, as we would know. So they were the two questions on this sheet of paper. There are other questions here, some of which I think have been addressed.
Can I just say, I don't know why we finished in R12. I mean, if you're finding this session interesting, let's continue. We won. What's the problem? This is the administration, the rules governing the content. What we should be doing is.
I think there's misunderstanding. I think misunderstanding. I think we finish the session for lunch. I think now.
Why?
Then, just hold on. Then we come back and we can continue the session. There's a reason for that.
What is the reason?
Just feel free to.
1 o'clock over here, 1 o'clock.
Just feel free to finish the question. So I think I have just a couple of questions to be answered. So okay, that's fine. Just finish answering that, and then
we have to respond to the audience as well, and you will receive the request from you, so we have to answer it. So if you want to stop now or you want to continue, I think it's majority rules. So what do you think? Is it a single request or a group request?
Okay, se ordem as perguntas e observe depois. Okay?
So okay,
so we continue for another 10-15 minutes and then we break. Yes? Okay.
Good, that's good. Don't let the administrators rule. Right?
Okay, let's move on with the questions that we have here. I think some of these are already answered, so we're not gonna cover them unless you feel there's a need. The question is, how can we get external investments to implement, I think, internationalization? Alfredo?
Well, I mean, we've said that the first stage is do it for free. But then, in the second stage, we need investment. In my career, the investment has come through projects, capacity building projects. These are very useful. The normal Erasmus capacity building key stage 2, the normal amount is 1 million euros, and that usually covers an extensive amount of mobility and staff working together, staff costs as well, mainly, and equipment. So a normal Erasmus program is about 300,000 euros for equipment, about 300,000 euros for travel, and about 400,000 euros for staff costs. And that's a great help. That was one of our starts in the Middle East. We were fortunate enough to get 2 Erasmus projects with Egypt and Lebanon and Morocco, which started off that part of things. I've had 5 or 6 projects with Ukraine, which has started off a big Ukrainian, not the Cardiff, but the university. This is my experience of getting international, of getting investment through writing projects, and this could be a possible avenue in this development to write a project. Again, there's a new fund as well. The guy Nils the guy from Paraná, Nils Sao, he was talking to me about the Newton Fund, which is a British Council fund, which has got investment for Brazil. I'm sure there's many other investments you can get.
Thank you. Next question is regarding the a good structure of internationalization? Is it possible to get it from Cardiff Met? Well, our strategic plan is available. Actually, it's public information. It's on our website, so you can go through it and look at the different pillars that we have, how internationalization is integrated and embedded in everything that we do. We here, as we mentioned a few times, we're here to assist and support your internationalization journey. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, and we will definitely assist regardless of the stage that you're in. I heard from colleagues that you have good international staff, but you don't have the support from senior management. I heard from other colleagues that you have the support from senior management, but you don't have the staff. From other colleagues, you don't have the infrastructure. So our understanding is that you are different levels. However, the common factor is that you have internationalization, which is the key. So you're already there. It's just what's the next step? I think this is a good question to ask yourself. This is part of this program, and it will definitely be part of our roadmap, or the roadmap that we will develop together. You already have it. It's just what's the next stage and what's the long-term plan and how will you sustain this. So yes, the answer is yes to this question. Is the strategy is there, and please feel free to review it and share with us your concerns or your questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer it for you.
Okay, there's a question here. Is how important is the creation of a portfolio of short-term courses to receive foreign students? I sort of touched on this. This is extremely important. This is a part of the different levels of engagement. Example again, Cardiff School of Art and Design. Can I say this reflects on other schools as well? We have the International Summer School. That is a 2-week program that covers different disciplines within the university. We have bespoke programs, in other words, customized. We have for example, in Paraná School of Art and Design, we had an institution from Philippines. They came for a week, and their training was to do with the master's programs. We had staff members coming from Pakistan, from a top institution, who wanted to learn more about glass making, ceramics, and so on, because that's our area. We have another institution. These are students now. For 2 weeks, they came, and they are coming again from Australia, top university there, for graphic designers. And when they come, I like to give them a little bit more. So they do product design, they do a bit of, otherwise they're living in their comfy zones. And the world is not all about creating, living in the armchair. If you want to change the world, you need to get off the armchair and do something. And so we give them ceramics, we give them and they enjoy it, they love it. So yes, short courses is definitely something we can work with. There's 2 things with short courses, 2-3 things with short courses. One of them is we have to agree a program, and with the program we have to have a costing model, yeah, and then see how that can be funded. And typically it's the students who will need to pay, yeah, but we can see how that works. There has to be a costing model to go with that. There's other questions here. If I may just quickly go through that. There's a question about Bologna process and to align similar academic and curriculum proposals in order to effectively start undergraduate students. Yes, of course. I think the thing is, you have to use this right currency. So if you have the same currency, then it's easier for mobility to happen. But that's not to say that if it's not aligned at the moment, it can't be aligned. It can be done on bespoke. It depends on, sometimes you have 2 types of trade. One that contribute credits back into the curriculum, and the other is for cultural and educational awareness. So, the Beijing trip I was talking about, that contributed nothing to as far as credits were concerned, but in terms of experience, it was awesome. Yeah. So you can have 2 types. Yeah. And if it is going to contribute, then a Erasmus model, quite clearly, we are one of the top institutions, and Booker knows a lot more about this than I do. We have learning agreements, and we can actually identify what the students will have done here with what they're going to be there, and then the program directors will actually then sign off, from our side at least, to say that this is acceptable, that students will come. And sometimes for Erasmus, for example, we have to be smart because our modules are thick, yeah, and Erasmus requires sort of thin modules, where students will stay for 3 months rather than 6 months. So we have to see how we can adjust that, readjust it to, and so on. So Bologna process is very, very important if you want to attach yourself to Europe effectively and to where Europe attaches itself to other parts of the world. The language and finance we really touched on. I don't think that would be our first consideration. Of course, we do need language, we do need finance. Yeah, but I don't think that's the starting point. That probably may kill anything that any creative ideas that we have.
I think joint and double degrees are extremely difficult to do. But I've never taught in a joint degree in 50 years. I don't know. In 4 universities, I don't know what Cardiff got any at the moment. But joint degrees are very, very difficult. You get degrees where, okay, a student goes abroad to another university for 6 months and comes back. That's not a joint degree. That's a shared degree or whatever, but it's not a joint degree. To get a joint degree, you've got to really, really harmonise and integrate your two curriculum. You've got to have exactly similar assessment processes. You've got a lot of legal and bureaucratic and things to get through. And it's a really, really difficult process. And I don't think any of you here at the moment are in the stage of doing a joint degree or a double degree. I think, to be honest, at the moment that we should start the internationalizing process here, we should get the free option, the speaking together, get professors talking to professors from your university to professors in Cardiff Met University, arrange Skype sessions, arrange tutorials between ourselves, get to know each other much better, and eventually we might get to a joint and double degree. But as I say, it's a long way off. To be honest, it's a long way off, I think.
I slightly disagree with Alfredo because I'm going to go through the model that we did in the Philippines, and it has got the support from the government. It was initiated by the Commission for Higher Education, acts on behalf of the Ministry of Higher Education, and they selected 10 universities from across the Philippines, and they started this partnership sort of roadmap with the UK. They selected 10 universities from the UK, including Cardiff Met. We actually were the first ones selected. This was stage one. Stage two was to have a one-to-one sort of discussion between each institution and the other, like speed meetings. And then we identified our area of interest, which was the School of Arts and Design. This was stage two. Stage three was for 10 members of staff to travel from the Philippines to get the comprehensive training for 2 weeks on everything within the school, curriculum development, staff engagement, staff development, how to deliver the program, everything else. Stage four was to identify which course, which actually will be MA in Arts and Design. And then stage five will be for 5 members to come to study at Cardiff Met, fully funded by the government. I talk about government supporting, will be fully funded by the government in order for them to start delivering the program in 2019. So this process took about 2 years. Maybe before 2 years, they were in a more or less similar position, that funding was an issue, whatever. But then with some regional or national support, this can happen. This can actually happen. It can happen very, very quickly. So you'll have a lot of similarities between many universities in the UK or in other countries, but I'll only talk about the UK. So this model, with the support of the national government or the regional authorities, can actually happen, and can happen quite quickly. It's been tested, and it is a successful model. So this is another route to look at, and will be part of the recommendations as well. So, thank you.
But in reality, after 2 years, what you've got is some people who've been trained in either different universities to understand each other. They haven't got a joint degree. I'll tell you, a joint degree is a difficult thing to get, and a double degree is even more difficult. All Barry is saying is that we've got some government support for people to go back and forth with the Philippines, which is very good, and they understand us, we understand them, and we come to some agreement on maybe a course that we can develop a course, joint course together. But a joint course, what's a joint course? Not a degree.
This will be a very interesting discussion.
It's not a degree, a joint course is a joint course. I mean, that's it, it's nothing. You know, a joint course, I'll tell you, I've never in 50 years ever taught in a joint course. And I've taught in 4 universities in the UK and many universities in Europe. A double degree in a joint course is very difficult. And in fact, it's misleading if you think in 2 years' time you can start doing a joint degree. I would say I'd be amazed if that happened.
Well, I think misleading is quite a strong statement to mention. The final stage is actually to deliver the program in the Philippines for students studying in the Philippines on a joint degree. And it's not only one university, but 10 universities are going through this process. If Alfredo doesn't agree with this, obviously it's a free country, so it's fine. It's amazing, but yes?
We are having a very interesting possibility of experience with the University of Fukui, because they want to have an art course. They don't have the human resources to do this, so they propose for us to do the double degree or something like this. So maybe we can talk later about this example to see if we can use this model to develop.
Yeah, can I just add, I think as far as Cardiff School of Art and Design is concerned, you probably sense, not just because of me, the school is very well advanced in terms of internationalization. I've contributed to that, and we have already set up a partnership, or we had a partnership with Samson Art and Design as a joint delivery for 7 years. So it's not the case, I think, that we will start fresh. So if today somebody came to me right now and made a proposal and to us, I'm more than happy to work with yourselves, and I'm sure we'll have something up and running in September 2019. So that's exactly what we're doing with the Philippines. We have a strategy with them, thanks to Abubakar, and what he's done in the Philippines is modest in terms of what he's saying. He traveled all the way to the Philippines and guided them and so on. And as a result, those staff members, senior staff members as well, came to us and wanted to learn about the master's program. And we have a strategy. 5 of those colleagues will join us in September to study a master's with us, to see how it's delivered, and come the following year, they will deliver it. Yeah, so there's a strategy. Yes, which is yeah, it's a joint degree, and the QAA is supportive, the quality assurance agency is supportive of this, and in fact they're looking at us how to set it up, and they already know we have a model in place.
Thank you.
I think there's something.
Some questions, or should we? Yeah. Okay. So if there are no more questions, we would like to thank you all for this session, and we break for lunch and to continue after that. 1 hour at 2 o'clock. Okay. Thank you very much.
Não, mas coquetel a gente fez, coquetel a gente tá com, a gente já fez 3, 4, né? Mas coquetel é outro segmento, porque a pessoa vai pra lá fazer uma diferente com um orientador lá e vem ver de como. É diferente do que eles duas coisas. Mas eu o double degrees, eu faço uma coisa, você faz uma coisa, um pedacinho ali e me dá os dois. É outra parte, bem diferente. Você faz um esquema, tipo assim, que todo aluno faz o primeiro ano, o segundo ano. Esse é o esquema, é a única forma de ganhar aquele diploma. E a Portugal não, ele pode assinar o projeto dele, já existe essa auto-perspectiva de fazer um pedacinho fora e depois. E é complicado. E já é complicado. Pensa o joint mais complicado.
Thank you very much.